Welcome back to Digital Deceptions. Today we are tracking a high-stakes standoff in the independent media world. What started as a legal threat has evolved into a full-blown public fallout. Shawn Ryan has officially retracted his invitation to Congressman Dan Crenshaw, and the reason comes down to one thing: the fine print. The tensions began when Congressman Crenshaw issued a cease and desist letter to Ryan, threatening legal action. In a bold counter-move, Ryan didn't just issue a rebuttal. He invited the congressman onto his platform, which boasts an audience of over 5.5 million. The goal? To address allegations of insider trading. The interview was scheduled for January 2nd, but the deal collapsed over a standard release form. Ryan reveals that while high-profile figures like President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Tulsi Gabbard have all signed the document, Crenshaw's legal team demanded a special concession and a red line. Ryan stood his ground, stating that no modifications would be made to the standard form used by every guest in his new studio. Ryan claims the congressman's team used bully tactics by waiting until 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve to communicate via email. The email reportedly mentioned travel logistics but ignored the unsigned release form. Ryan characterized this as a calculated move to avoid the interview while being able to claim he was ready to show up. In response, Ryan has officially pulled the plug on the interview, stating he does not play games. So here I'm going to play a little bit of what Shawn Ryan said, and then we'll jump right back into it.
And this is not how I wanted to kick my new year off, but here we are. It's one of those times where I need to be honest and transparent with you guys, because I always have been. Whenever I make a mistake, I take ownership of it, and I apologize to those that were affected, whether I like them and respect them or not, because that's the right thing to do, and that's what a man does. And so what do I need to talk to you about? I need to talk to you about the Dan Crenshaw situation. As many of you know, he sent me a cease and desist, threatened to sue me. I made a rebuttal. I invited him on the show. Then he challenged me. I accepted. I said, okay, perfect. January 2nd. To come on this show, you have to sign a release form. Just about everybody let me rephrase that. Everybody that's been on this show since around episode 10 has signed a release form. President Trump, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Kent, lots of very important people, much more important than a congressman, have signed that release form. Everybody that has been interviewed in the new studio has signed the exact same release form. So, Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army, signed the exact same release form. Mike Waltz, former National Security Advisor and Ambassador to the UN, signed the exact same release form just a few days ago. Dan and his attorneys, they don't want to sign the release form. They want special concessions. We sent them that release form on December 26th. They then sent a bunch of red lines. We said, we're not making any special circumstances or modifying our release form for the congressman. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But we will make some special concessions for his protection on another document and send that over. Well, they have yet to sign either one of those documents. I have to have those documents signed to interview somebody. Everybody's done it. I talked to my attorney. I said, I think this is what's going to happen. They are going to wait until close of business on New Year's Eve to send some type of a communication in hopes that we don't get it, because who the hell is checking their email at 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve? Well, guess what? We get an email at 10 o'clock at night from Dan's campaign manager on New Year's Eve, where the next day is a national holiday and nobody's behind their desk. And the next day, it's game day, it's interview time. They said, we've booked the hotel that you've recommended. Will somebody be there to pick us up? There was no mention of the release forms. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to come here and they're going to make a big stink on how I didn't interview them and how I was scared to interview them or whatever, but they're hiding behind the paperwork. And so now, this is what's going to happen. Dan, I am now redacting my invitation for you to come on my show. I gave you the opportunity to be a man. You didn't take it. I gave you the opportunity to speak to 5.5 million people and prove to them that you are not insider trading. That's a fucking gift. I might add, a gift that not.
So, what do you guys think? Is this a case of protecting legal interest or a strategic retreat from a tough interview? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. For Digital Deceptions, I'm Chris. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for being viewers.